Greetings everyone, Logical here, and welcome to another inspired modular terrain. After doing 2 challenges of Mordheim Roll for Terrain by SummonLesserMaker, please go check his channel, it's lots of fun. You can find the link below. But before we start with this one, why this die has no 20? It has 215, one with an M. After those 2 challenges, I want to make my own board. So I made this, a square building with bricks. And then I decided to put a second floor or support for a roof. So I made this. Looks like with wood and details and all that. Looks great. Again, I was happy with it. Then, wait a minute, I'm not really happy. It's just square. And there's squares that are good, like Squarespace. But it's not a paid advertisement, and I'm not going to advertise for them unless they support my channel. So what to do next? So I decided to make a cursed dice tower because I was pretty angry about that stupid square building I made. I will explain later why I decided to make it cursed. I'm not going to go through the process of showing you how I built this. I just borrowed the bricks from the alchemist laboratory. Yeah, after all those years, I still get hung up on some words, especially when I'm recording. Finally, after about 8 hours, building this thing brick by brick, I finally printed it. I decided this time I'm going to add to the video the painting video of it. Moving forward, I'm going to try to do that with each piece of terrain. I'm starting with painting all the wood that's involved in this piece of terrain, using brown, obviously, and painting the support beams that are preventing the tower from collapsing as it has already started to collapse. The angled wood floor that make the dice bounce around inside of the tower so it can roll perfectly at the end. And it's part of the design as being floors that collapsed. After that, using the gray for the tiles, and I'm just going to go around all the bricks, trying to avoid touching the bricks or the wood beams. Once all of that is done, I'm going to start doing the bricks. For the bricks, I'm just going to mix the brown and some red. I'm going to make the brick redder, but I don't want it to be bright red like blood, so the brown is toning it down. Like I said, I'm new at painting terrain, and I'm not too sure how it's going to end up at the end. Once all the bricks are painted, I'm going to add some black to my mixture of red and brown to give a variation of bricks. Some of them might be burned over the years or dirty and rotten. I will start painting random bricks here and there. No specific patterns because bricks are all different and they are affected by the weather and elements or whatever other thing. Oh, one thing that I forgot to mention, when I was painting the red, I ran out of paint, so I added different ratio of red and browns to make the red uneven throughout the whole tower. After everything is painted, it's time to dirty it up because it looks pretty flat. So I made some wash and I'm just splotching it around, and it looks pretty scary like in other videos. But you have to dab it with paper, cloth, or foam. And some areas are really hard to get, like in between those wooden beams. And I dabbed it with the paper there, and then I started to get really frustrated because I couldn't get it. So I grabbed the foam paintbrush, blocking blocking it, and then it was disastrous because the foam paintbrush was falling apart. So I'm trying to fix it and go in there and just kind of wipe it as much as I can before it's too late. So I'm mixing both. I drench it with a paintbrush, and then with the foam brush I try to get those corners because my fingers are too big. I won't fit in there. See, it's just falling apart and it's getting really frustrating. But don't be afraid. It can be a really frustrating hobby when you finish all that stuff, but the end result is just glorious. You're going to be really happy no matter what you do. Either happy with the result or happy that you're finally done with it and you don't want to touch it and you want to just throw it in the garbage. There are always light at the end of the tunnel, no matter how dark the light is. Finally, I get to do the ground, the floor, And I'm really sorry about my Muppet hands. They're all over the place and it's in front of the camera. I'll have to figure something out. I'm recording this with my iPhone. I should have listened to my friends and got a Samsung or a Google phone because I'm sure my hands wouldn't be in the way. Here's a question. Is this a real injury? A, this is the real injury? Or B, place your guess, A or B, in the comments. I will let you know later in this video. Now that it's all done, let's test it. Roll a 10, this is fun. Roll a 5, not so fun. And here goes the other side. A 19, that's great. 19. 14. 2, not that great. 8, not that great. 16, pretty good. Now let's try with a whole bunch of 6s. Oh, look at that, it's working great. Oh, once ran away. I guess I just put too many 6s at the same time. But with smaller dice, a larger amount works great. I'm pretty happy with the results of my painting. It's not the best, but it's not the worst. And you can also add other things to it, like vines and growth and skeletons. And the answer is B. That's a real injury, old injury. A was just paint that went into my arm and looks like I was scraped and hurt. Weird.